everybody. Happy Tuesday. I promised you 3 streams a week, and 3 streams a week you're going to get. Although tomorrow's stream will be early because, of course, the Disney investor call is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have to stream before that because I plan to hopefully be covering some news from there. There should be something. It's Bob Iger's very first back as returning as the head of the studio. Hey, Chris Tothafer, how you doing? And I want to say, Lone Wolf Media, I really appreciated your comment. You said, I'm going through a rough patch, and your videos and live streams always make me feel like a part of the BTT community. That's such a nice thing. I'm so glad that you feel that way. And I wanted to point that out not only to honor that, but because that's why I'm making sure I do the 3 streams a week as promised. Even when there isn't a lot going on. In response to my tweet about today's topics, someone was like, slow news time, huh? And it's like, yeah, it's slow just because it's the winter, but also I think it's because it's the week of the Super Bowl. So it's the calm before the storm. Sunday is going to be nuts. So I think you're seeing a lot of that as well. But I just want to make sure that we do these streams. I appreciate that a number of you make them a part of your week. That means a lot to me. And so I want to make sure that I give you the 3 streams a week that I promised. So it'll be today, tomorrow, earlier in the day, and then Thursday. JSN The Myth says, my toddlers, 2 and 3, just said, Daddy, it's Grace. Oh, hello, little JSN The Myth juniors. That's so cute. That's nice. They're so close in age. All right. Hey, Rashad. That's awesome. So I'm glad I'm meeting the rest of your families like a real friend. So we're gonna do I found 3 stories. I found them. We're gonna discuss our 3 stories of the day, and then of course, as always, you can ask me anything you'd like for the last 10 minutes of the stream. So I know a couple of you have questions about other topics. I tried to pick the ones that I felt would have the most interest. My pleasure, Stephen. A nice new profile pic. All right, everybody, let's get started. All right, story number 1. Hold on, here it comes. Boop. I gotta fix this later. So anyway, Yellowstone. It's a huge juggernaut of a show. It's certainly entered. No worries, Charlie. Have a good rehearsal. Try to keep your comments on point. Some I won't answer. I try to usually answer every single super chat and comment, but I'm not going to do that necessarily if it's not on topic. So just at your own risk to post those until we get to the Ask Me Anything. All right. So I don't know if it's the new Dallas, Mika, because Dallas didn't have like a political bent, and I know a lot of people insist that Yellowstone does not. But I don't know. I think it certainly represents. I think that Dallas was more mainstream, although with Matthew McConaughey, this could get more mainstream. It's very interesting. It certainly appeals to a certain demographic and part of the country, but it's so successful now that it's entered the pop culture, lexicon. Bowen Yang made a joke on SNL, which was very funny the other day. It's doing very, very well. It's better than Dynasty because Dynasty didn't have all these spin-offs. So, Taylor Sheridan's like, it's not conservative. And it's like, just own your success, Taylor. I mean, I certainly would advise him against dissing the people who have given him the biggest hit of his career. But the bigger the hit, the bigger the drama. And that holds true for all shows, even those that aren't necessarily in the traditional Hollywood bubble. Because here comes the drama for Yellowstone. Although once Harrison Ford joins the franchise, I think you're doing pretty good. I got to tell you, I think Yellowstone, we're going to talk about it. But one of the things that they have is this upcoming Bass Reeves show. I will watch the Bass Reeves show. I will certainly try the first episode. My parents tried the first episode of the Harrison Ford one. They did not like it. Because they were like, we love Harrison Ford. He's great on Shrinking, the new Apple TV show with Jason Segel. That's a great show. But, I would definitely, I think, try that Bass Reeves show. We'll discuss that a little bit more as things go on. Carlos says he's liberal, but he loves Yellowstone. Interesting. I do like the cinematography. I love the middle of the country. It's gorgeous. Americana. Mwah, it's beautiful. Don't talk to anybody about their politics. But, I certainly do like Americana, and I would like to enjoy Yellowstone. I gotta tell you, I had a problem with, I watched the trailer for Yellowstone. Oh, side note. I watched the trailer for Yellowstone season 5. Oh, look, Christian and Joe also love them some Yellowstone. Oh, let's put a thing in here. Who watches Yellowstone? It's poll time. Poll time, baby. Who watches Yellowstone? I do. Tried it. Not for me. And then, no, nope. And then we'll do another one. No, but considering. The more popular something gets, the more people are like, resistance is futile. So I watched the trailer for season 5 because, there was nothing on. And I was like, everybody sure does like Yellowstone. I'm going to watch this trailer. So I watched the trailer, and I thought I had a particular problem with the way the female characters were depicted. And I was like, I just can't watch that. So, but I'm going to try the Bass Reeves show. And with Matthew McConaughey comes on, oh, thank you, Green Lantern's Light. Green Lantern's Light just gifted 5 memberships. So kind. Come on, YouTube, get to the point where I can gift memberships. I want to be able to be as generous as the rest of you. I have Paramount Plus. I could be watching this at no extra cost. So anyway, I don't watch Yellowstone. But here's the thing. A lot of people do. Incredibly successful show, all right? Now, Kevin Costner, what's the issue? Hey, filmer dude, welcome back. What's the issue right now? Why is Yellowstone in the headlines yet again? Well, this time for drama. And that's because Kevin Costner doesn't want to work. Kevin Costner's like, yeah, I want to come into work as little as possible. Like, he's been lowering the amount of days that he's available to shoot a season. But now he's like, I just want to come in for a week. And they're like, you can't just come in for a week and be a part of the show as a lead, no less. Hey, Bubbles. Bubbles says the characters are all just too darn mean. Really? I didn't get that from the trailer. That's interesting. But anyway, they're like, you can't be the star of the show and come into work so little. By the way, I'm a Kevin Costner fan. I like Kevin Costner. I think a lot of his stuff is good. Some of it's mediocre, but some of it's quite good. He did a really good Hatfields and McCoys series. Remember when that came out with the guy who passed away? I even interviewed. It was so sad. He was such a nice guy. Bill, I think, is James Cameron's friend. I can't believe I forgot his name. I have to wait for you guys to catch up to me. I'm glad you like Kelly Riley on the show, Jose. What's his name? Bill Paxton! Thank you, Randolph G. And by the way, that is Randolph G's real name. I asked. So yes, Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton, what a sweetheart. If you've not seen the Hatfields and McCoys, as Wade seconded, that's great stuff. And I don't think his Wyatt Earp movie was as good as Tombstone, but I like Kevin Costner. He did an open range Western, which had an amazing shootout at the end. If Kevin Costner's doing something, I'll consider giving it a whirl. Danny says, I auditioned 3 times for Yellowstone during COVID. Didn't work out. And I'm from Montana. They like to cast locals. Danny, what the heck? You should go to the casting director and say, hey, thank you so much for calling me in multiple times. I feel bad this isn't working out. Do you have any notes for me? Maybe you did that. But I would tell the casting director that, you don't be upset. Just say, I feel kind of bad about how this is going down. What would you recommend that I do maybe to increase my chances next time I come in to audition? Emily says part of Yellowstone is filmed in Utah, close to west to where you live. That's awesome. I like Wade's open range is decent. That's hilarious. It's decent. All right, so anyway. So they're like, we're going to bring in Matthew McConaughey, which is like, Matthew McConaughey's like, ka-ching! They talk him off the top of his trailer playing the bongos and say, put some clothes on, Matt. Come on and be in our our show. So he's like, all right. I hope he does that. I hope he puts his Matthew McConaughey-isms in there. So Matthew McConaughey, by the way, that's a good question, Dan Blaster. Matthew McConaughey, as you might recall, was considering running for the governor of Texas as a Democrat. But Kevin Costner's a Democrat. So I think both of them are moderates. But I think that they certainly appeal to, the Yellowstone demographic. I mean, let's see. Let me see how you guys voted in this poll. All right, so 51% of you don't watch the show. 27% of you are considering. Only 16% of you do. See, where is the Yellowstone audience? Nobody knows. They're a huge audience, but they usually don't partake in entertainment for the most part. So everybody's like, who are these people watching Yellowstone? It's part of the great masses untapped by Hollywood. And Yellowstone, as you can see, again, if you can break through to that group of people that don't usually go to entertainment and partake in it, it's huge. It just blows up. It's gigantic. So anyway, not doing particularly well. So Matthew McConaughey, they're saying they would stop the current Yellowstone and launch a new Yellowstone that focuses around Matthew McConaughey. That's the rumor. The producers were like, Kevin Costner ain't going nowhere. But here's what I'll say to you. There's absolutely no reason to do a restart, to stop the current iteration and have it go again. Kevin Costner can just step back and come on occasionally and collect a paycheck. You know, I mean, he doesn't need to be written off or killed off, but he certainly wouldn't collect the same amount that he was now. But why create that animosity? Why have such a harsh break for fans? Just have Kevin Costner shoot the week that he wants to for, I'm sorry to say, less money. I'd be like, look, Kevin, come on. Probably not like no money. He'd still probably be getting paid a ridiculous amount for a week's worth of work. And then have Matthew McConaughey come in here and be the lead. I think that would work, quite frankly. Hey, Solitude Star, welcome back. That's a funny picture. All right, but this is like, and Matthew McConaughey, by the way, is doing great. They just announced that he's doing the voice of an Elvis animated series on Netflix, which I feel seems to like say that the illusions of grandeur that Elvis had, that were quite frankly, some people feel psychotic breaks actually happened. They're like, he was an agent for the CIA. And I'm like, no, he wasn't. So anyway, and also, it's like what we talked about with Michael Jackson. You have these two families, the Presleys and the Jacksons, who are like, oh my God, our cash cow is running out of steam. Let's try and reboot it or, re-energize it. And that's why you have the Michael Jackson movie coming up. And that's why they're doing so much stuff with Elvis. They're like, we got it. This thing's puttering out. We got to give it another kick in the pants. But I mean, because, who is that? I mean, who is the Elvis animated series for? I don't think Elvis's current fans are going to be like, this was made for me. This is to try and win over new fans? But I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. But Matthew McConaughey is voicing the character. But Yellowstone is truly a juggernaut. It's holding up two spin-offs right now, 1883 and 1923. And then this Bass Reeves show, which is currently shooting with David Oyelowo. And that's cool that Taylor Sheridan tried to, David Oyelowo was trying to get it off the ground for a very long time, a Bass Reeves project, and couldn't do it. And Taylor Sheridan got it done. I don't know if Taylor Sheridan reached out to David Oyelowo, or maybe David Oyelowo is a genius and said, hey, you want to tell a Bass Reeves story and maybe potentially expand your audience? I think a lot of people would check out a Bass Reeves show just because no one has done it. Even though people brought it up a long time ago, like a couple of years already. Mika Denzel didn't actually play the character. He did kind of like a take on it with the Magnificent Seven, which didn't do particularly well. Trisha's shopping at Whole Foods. Oh, that's awesome. Get some fun stuff there. Great fruit and veg over there. I would shop there too. So anyway, yeah. So I think, the David Oyelowo show could be really, really big. I think I'm excited to see a trailer. I personally wouldn't have cast David Oyelowo to make him be a huge hit, to be honest with you. But, let's see. All right, let's see. I like David Oyelowo. He's a very good actor, but I just don't know if he's what people are looking for maybe in Bass Reeves. I'm open to being surprised. All right, does anybody have any questions about this Yellowstone story? I appreciate all of you sitting through this when clearly a lot of you are not into Yellowstone. But it's still a big part of what's going on in Hollywood, and you should know about it. As told by Gonzo says, I would love to see McConaughey in another Texas Chainsaw movie. You never know. I think Matthew McConaughey wants to work. He's like, let me make some money. Woohoo. Tyler's trying to boop us into the next story. That's pretty funny, Tyler. Tyler's like, I'll boop us into the next story. Let's go. All right, I think you guys are ready for the next story. Jason says, Yellowstone and Dallas aren't that different. It's society that's different. It makes everything partisan. No, I don't think so, Jason, because Dallas had a real city aspect to it. I think it's different. I think that people who are conservative might feel that it's changed, but I can tell you, I will tell you, look, you guys are all trying to boop it. I'll just listen to you and boop it. I think you guys are sending me a good signal there. Let's just go on to the next boop. I think there's just not as much animosity as people think there is. I wish we could all find a path forward together. Carlos says, I think people don't give Yellowstone a chance because they think it's super conservative, but it's just another crazy family, and I can't get enough of it. I'm really glad you're enjoying it, Carlos. All right, let's go on to the next one. Hold on. Next story of the day. Here it comes. Hold on. Boop. All right. So as I tweeted out yesterday, and a number of people were discussing, AMC is like, you know how we could make more money? Just doing a surcharge, $2 for anyone who wants to sit in the good seats in the theater. I mean, just think about like that line between like the good seats, like the $2 more, and the regular. Or yellow in that picture there. Yellow is $2 more. The other ones are regular prices. Then the blue, and who wants to sit in the very front for just $2? I mean, I think it's kind of cruel for say, hey, for $2 less, you can sit in a seat that really no one would ever sit in under any circumstances. That's $2 less. I mean, I guess people will be like, oh, I'll go buy that seat and then I'll move. I saw a number of people saying yesterday, oh, I'll just move when the lights go down. But I got to tell you, these things fill up pretty fast, to be honest with you. There is also two blue in the middle there. I believe that is a handicapped seat. And then in every theater, they have one handicapped seat and one handicapped companion seat, also blue. So I think, to do something for the handicapped community. Not all the handicapped seats and companion seats are blue, but there's always one that is. Because a lot of people sit in those seats anyway. So if you like to buy those seats, don't buy the discounted ones. Leave that for people who genuinely need the handicap seats, I think. So this happens for any evening show, but even early evening. And they're starting out in New York City, Chicago, and Kansas City. I think is that where AMC is located? But they're going to roll this out by the end of the year to all theaters. Now, if you're an A-list member, you don't have to pay any surcharge. And I think, as many people pointed out yesterday, this is clearly to get more people to sign up for A-list. It's called AMC Sightline. Now, here's my feeling. Why don't you call it AMC We Cleaned Your Theater? I would appreciate that. Or also, how about AMC, we're going to make sure no one's on their phone or talking during the movie. I think those would be great initiatives. However, those things cost money to do, whereas an upcharge is just money in your pocket. Will says just subscribe to A-List. But you have to go a lot to go to A-List. A-List is somewhat expensive, particularly if you live in New York City. A-List is like is an amazing deal. It's an amazing deal at AMC A-List because it's the price of one premium ticket a month. So if you just go to one premium show once a month, it pays for itself. But in other parts of the country where you're only paying $8 for a ticket, some of you, or $12, which is incredible to me, you're very lucky, then it becomes a little bit more expensive. Subucio brings up a good point. AMC has been playing with ticket fluctuation. Heck, Paramount did this past weekend with 80 for Brady, offering matinee prices for all showings. But this is something that A-List is doing itself. So I feel one of the problems is that when I said this yesterday, some people were like, what do I get for my $2 extra? And it's like, you get absolutely nothing. You get to sit in that seat. And I think that when airlines do the upcharge, for Economy Plus, you do get a benefit. There is a benefit. It's not like the movie theater. How long till the movie theater says there's a cheap price where you have to wait back until the trailers are over and then you can fill in whatever seats are available? That's horrible. That's what airlines do, which I also think is horrible. One time, a studio bought a ticket for me, and I didn't even know existed. And I was like, this is one step. This was like early on in my career, and I was like, this is basically, they're going to like duct tape me to the side of the plane. They're like, but you'll get there. And I was like, this shouldn't even be a ticket that's offered, quite frankly. I know a number of you said some of you are bragging about how great your experiences are in your countries. Darn you. And then some people are saying in other countries they've been doing this tiered ticket pricing already. Now, I agree with the comments some of you have already made, and that really creates classism in movie theaters. Why do that? Movies are supposed to be, entertainment for the masses. And I don't think there's enough animosity in movie theaters as it is. I don't think that you need to have more of that. Think about how much animosity there is on an airline, which does the similar type of seating. And think of the problems that flight attendants have to deal with. But what have you ever seen an usher? They clean the theater, kind of, but there are no ushers anymore. So you're just going to it's like they just lock you in here and close the door like Mad Max Fury Road. Dev, I don't think A-list creates classism. Do you mean on the line for snacks? I gotta tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've been to AMC and they haven't honored the AMC A-list line. And it's been really bad. Although the last time I went, thank you, Justin, the last time I went, this woman was having such a bad day who worked there. I mean, she was on the verge of quitting. And you were like, maybe you should quit. You seem really unhappy. Like, she was throwing a temper tantrum. I saw her throw a temper tantrum several times in front of customers. And this was like a weekday. And it's like, it's not even crowded here, lady. I felt bad for her. But at the same time, I'm surprised her manager wasn't like, you can't do this. You know, you just can't have a meltdown in front of the customers when, you know, I think she got upset about someone asking her to clean the seats. You know, she was like, I just cleaned these seats. And it was like, well, no, you couldn't because they're dirty. So you didn't clearly just clean them. And then she was upset that someone complained. It was the guy in front of me. And the guy in front of me was like, I'm AMC A-list, yet you took that other customer ahead of me. And she was like, look, we can't deal with that tonight. And he was like, then why do you have two separate lines? You know, like, why don't you close off the A-list line? And she just walked away and said, I can't take it anymore. And the other person working in the snack stand had to help him. I think he walked away too. It was a weird night at the movies. I was like, why do I come out here again? So anyway, it's pretty nuts. That's what it's like going to the movies these days. But people get really upset, as David said, about microtransactions. I agree. I think people feel really put upon. You know, I think they feel like, you know, I think it just eats away at them. Just like you're seeing at Disney in the theme parks with Genie Plus. People are getting really angry, and you're seeing more anger. You know, like what are Disney parks thinking? They do the Genie Plus, which creates classism in the park, and then they throw fuel on the fire by letting you drink alcohol. They're like, hey, we made you look bad in front of your kids. Here's a beer. And you're like, wow, I wonder how this is going to go down. Let's watch. So I think, you know, they sell alcohol at movie theaters too. I think it's crazy. So, and as many of you are pointing out, like Alan said, and I like Chloe saying, like, exactly, Alan, that was funny. The economy's really bad right now. And I think $2 means a lot to people. It's very expensive. I checked out what the premium prices were here in New York City. It's currently, if I wanted to see a movie in Dolby in a regular medium seat, not an upcharge, it's like $30. I couldn't believe it. And then if I wanted to see it in a nice seat in the gold, it's $32. I was like, you know, yeah, you're not going to see every movie in theaters if that's how much it is. It's just very, very expensive. Although I'm A-list. I'm AMC A-list. I will say I'm AMC A-list. I really enjoy it. It's a great program. You can hold 3 movie tickets at once. It's fantastic. You can put everybody in a group together, and you can buy tickets for your friends and family. Hey, Nicholas, welcome back. And it's pretty great. I like it. You know, Aaliyah, it's funny you talk about Nicole Kidman. I saw some people yesterday saying, what does Nicole Kidman think about this? Because, you know, she's the spokesperson. I thought it's funny that some people said they were doing the upcharge to pay her salary. And I have to say, to some degree, that might be true. That's, I think, not a good look for her. Justin says, I think AMC is trying to milk more money from people who already go to the movies as opposed to getting more people to come back to the movies. That's a great comment, Justin. That's really, really smart. I swear to God, if they just clean the theater, hey, J-Hug says the cost is why people are staying home and watching Yellowstone. Yeah, maybe. But like, I think if they clean the theater and they had better behavior in the theater. I can't tell you how many times I see comments from you guys on Twitter and on my videos where you say, I went back to the movies finally, and it was such a horrible experience. And yesterday when I was at the press screening, hey, Perry Morton, thanks for joining. And Guy from Kings Highway says, I used to have A-list when I only went to AMC Lincoln Square, but now I only go there for special movies. Meanwhile, Regal is closer to me and is very nice. Regal is great. And they have their own Regal Unlimited thing as well. But anyway, I was at the screening last night and the press screening, and someone said, press screenings have ruined regular theaters for me because everybody here is so well behaved because it's a work function and we're all here because we really want to see the movie for work. So everybody's very respectful and nobody talks during the movie or is on their phone, and it's just a great experience to go. The only thing we're missing is snacks. We can't eat in the screening rooms. We can eat sometimes in other like screenings at a regular theater, but when we go to a screening room, we can't eat anything. But yeah, it is really great. And I think that if it was like that to go to the movies, although sometimes it is. Again, when I was in Pittsburgh, boy, was it great. It was really awesome. You know, like it was a Cinemark. I had a wonderful time. I was like, this, if only was always like this. What a treat. As told by Gonzo says, coming from someone that used to be a manager at Regal, this is a horrible idea. Yeah, and you guys have to deal with it. The employees are left to deal with it. And Tyler says, going to the movies is no longer a cheap date night. And I saw a number of people last night, or yesterday when I talked about this on Twitter, talking about how expensive it is for families to go to the movies. Forget date night. How about if you just want to go with your family? You know, how are you going to instill a love of movies in your kids if you can't take them to the theater? So let's see. But Lero says, what is the best cinema experience in New York? Oh, easy. AMC Lincoln Square. It's the best movie theater in the city by far. Everybody travels there from far away because it's absolutely phenomenal. They have 2 premium screens. They have the biggest IMAX in the country, I think. And they also, it's so cool. And they have also, hey, Billy Switzer, thanks for joining. And they have a great Dolby theater as well. Although I have to say the Regal downtown, the Battery Park, is also a very nice theater, I feel. And then a lot of other theaters during the pandemic fell out of repair, unfortunately. Keith says, is it clean? It's not that clean. It's pretty clean, actually. They do a pretty good job. The other theaters are not clean. It's funny. AMC Lincoln Square has 2 amazing premium theaters, but then every other theater is like from the 90s with like old bucket seats that like if someone sits in front of you, they're like in your lap. I mean, it's really weird. They don't want to, it's such a successful theater that generates often the most money of any theater in the country every weekend. They don't want to take it offline to upgrade it. But you're like, you know how much more money you'd be making if you could upgrade? I also really like when I go to New Jersey, I like the AMC Riverside Square Dine-In Theater. That's a very nice theater. Guy from Kings Highway says, no, the best is Times Square Regal. That is a pretty nice theater. I've been there. Steve Music says, I'm a Cinemark member. My experience in South Carolina is beautiful, but in any city, it's been awful for me. Yeah, it's rough. The roughest thing, Guy from Kings Highway says, or iPick is another good theater, or for Indy to go to the Angelica Film Center. Yeah, those are both good too, Guy from Kings Highway. I think iPick is a great theater. Filmer Dude says, I will say I'm an AMC A-list and it's the best financial decision for me. But I also say I miss my hometown Regal Theater. And Max says, also will cause lots of drama with people sitting in other people's seats. I had a problem during Wakanda Forever where my entire row was arguing for 15 minutes. Oh, that's horrible because one person took a seat. Yeah, you got to get there. You don't get to your, I remember when I was little, I would get to the movies 30 to 45 minutes early. But now with reserved seating, some people get there after the trailers have started because they're like, I don't want to sit through the trailers. Get there before the trailer starts. I'm begging you, please. Tim Kelly says, the premium theater in my hometown is well kept and serves alcohol and the workers are very nice. And I'm from Jersey. Sadly, it does not have IMAX. That sounds like a pretty nice experience, though. I'm very happy for you. And then Jason says, my boyfriend and I will be going to the movies for certain films, Ant-Man and the Marvels and The Little Mermaid. I think a lot of people are going for those. And Rafael Calvia says they should have used pandemics to upgrade theaters, but the trend is going down and mostly thought it was not worth to upgrade them. Yeah, they just never want to spend money. I think it's really unfortunate. You got to spend money to make money. Whatever happened to that? But there are still some nice theaters. I think it's there. It's still possible. But yeah. Will, what do you want me to ask in the A-list poll? Juan says our best IMAX screen only has bucket seats. Oh, that's tough. Let's see here. I don't know what you talked about with a poll for AMC A-list, Will. All right, let's move on to the next story. But I think, do you have AMC A-list or not? Okay, let's do a poll. Sure, why not? People like polls. I like polls. Let's do it. Do you have AMC A-list? Yes. Never. Thinking of getting it. And then I go to another theater. Hey, Renata. That's a great picture. All right, there's your poll. Vote away, my friends. Kevin says in California we have Cinemark Movie Club, and they treat you super well. That's awesome. California is a wonderful place to go to the movies. You've got the ArcLights, or whatever it's called now. AMC and the Grove. Century City and the Grove are fantastic theaters. Love it. Love it. I've also been to Universal City Walk. The theater at Disney, downtown Disney, is very nice. I like that too. I really love going to the movies. I just wear my mask. I do get snacks now if it's not too crowded. I just take my mask off, eat my food, and then put my mask back on. And I love my popcorn. I think I got a pizza last time I saw Avatar for like the third time. Neutral Man says, what is the worst movie theater in New York City? AMC Empire, 25. The theater in downtown Disney is gone? Oh my God. I don't even know what to say. Ivan says, it's crazy here in Mexico. Premium screens are $10 tops. That is crazy. Wow, what a great place to be a movie fan. Steam Music, don't diss my pizza choice. It was delicious. I mean, it's not a quality of like regular pizza, but it's good enough. Voice Inject says, why do young people feel the need to share that they are watching a movie while literally watching a movie? You know, that's funny you bring that up. When I went to see Monuments Men a long time ago, that's the George Clooney movie where they are saving paintings from the Nazis. And I was watching it and I was like, wow, who would have thought this group of teenagers would be interested in Monuments Men? I'm so glad that they're bettering themselves. They took out their phones when the movie started and texted during the entire film. They just were looking for something that started there. They just wanted to sit down and have a movie on in the background. And it was just infuriating. I told you I was in another time and someone let their child just play SpongeBob SquarePants with the sound on during the movie, so it was competing. And we were like, "Can you turn that off?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And you're like, "What world did you think that was okay?" Also, I went to see John Wick 4 in Los Angeles, actually, for John Wick 3, and I really wanted to see it with a friend of mine. I was like, oh, we got to go see John Wick. I've even seen John Wick. I really want you to experience it. And I used a part of my time there to go see it with them. And we were watching it, and there was a family behind us, or a group of people, who talked through the entire movie. And everybody was too afraid to tell them to not talk. And there, of course, was nobody, no ushers. So it just ruined the movie for everybody in the theater. It's like the time I was watching Lone Survivor and the Mark Wahlberg movie, and this guy's girlfriend did not want to watch the movie. So she was just on the iPad with the whole front left-hand corner of the theater lit up, but he was like this huge, tough-looking guy. So again, nobody wanted to say anything to him. So I was like, I guess this is just how we're watching Lone Survivor. These are my movies. I think everybody fears that, you know, and I think that's what keeps people from sometime going to the movies. I mean, that's why I like the theaters that, you know, keep everybody out of your. Talk about Sightline. I wish they would build things to disrupt the Sightline, like the Dolby Theater in a couple of Dolby theaters. For instance, AMC Garden State. Are built so that you can't see anybody else. It's a little weird because you feel like you're in the movie yourself until people react. Although I was in that theater to see Beauty and the Beast, the live action one, and someone threw cotton candy on everybody. And that kind of took us out and ruined the movie. And I actually have never been there since then. I was like, I don't like going to movie theaters at malls because if the movie theater is in the mall, except for the AMC Riverside Square because it's such an expensive theater, but if the movie theater is in the mall, people just want to kill time. They're like, what else should we do today? And they're like, let's just go to see a movie. And then they're bored because they don't actually want to see the movie. And it's horrible. Guy from Kings Highway says, worst thing about people talking is you end up looking like a jerk for being the one who asked them to stop. Or you could get shot. Someone got shot over that. Iceman says, AMC A-list and I will never go back. Saved me $1,000 last year, especially on my random Tennessee trip to see Knives Out. Oh, so you love being an AMC lister. Hey, Angel, thanks for joining. All right, let's take a look at this poll and then move on to the next story of the day. Look at that. 38% of you, the majority, 37% go to another theater. And 33%, no wonder AMC has implemented this. Look, only 15% of you have it. That's fascinating. I think we've solved the mystery. AMC's like, how can we motivate them to buy AMC A-list? I know. That's fascinating. That's fascinating. But many of you refuse to ever do it. Or you'll just go to another theater. Victor says, my AMC in Orange was really bad before COVID, but recently I've had police during the busy days. That's great, Victor. I'm glad they do that. They have police stationed in all supermarkets now in New York City. That's how crazy it is. There's always a police officer. I'm like, this is crazy. And they're like, what are we going to do, man? Let's see here. All right, let's go to the next story of the day. Craziness, man. What a world that we live in. That's right, Patrick. Every time I go in, there's a police officer standing there. All right. Boom, baby. So talk about a baby's Nepo baby story. All right. So who's that lady standing next to John Cleese? Justin says, I've been watching your channel since Captain America Civil War. I just joined the live. I do not watch Yellowstone, Justin, but I might watch the Bass Reeves show. Look at all these Yellowstone fans who just joined in. They're like, Yellowstone. All right. So anyway, Nepo baby. So that woman next to John Cleese is his daughter. That's his daughter, Camilla Cleese. And I'm like, is she named after Camilla? Because I got to tell you, John Cleese has revealed himself to be aggressively conservative. Like, I bet he's sorry he tweeted out a lot of that stuff now that he wants everybody to watch Fawlty Towers. His Fawlty Towers reboot. He's like, maybe I should have kept my thoughts to myself. Because it's not like he changed anybody's opinion. There's a very strong saying occasionally you have to speak out against something that's just clearly wrong. Like, you're like, it's too awful. I must say something. But for the most part, the thing in Tinseltown is that you're supposed to largely keep your opinions to yourself on anything because you want the public to, you don't want to limit your audience, right? So like, why just go and alienate people? So John Cleese has like done a lot of alienating recently with his tweets, like where you're like he just seems like he did a little bit of a J.K. Rowling where you're like, dude, it's not even just what you believe in. It's like you're picking fights and being mean. So that's what he's like a little bit like a Tim Allen too. Like Tim Allen will make jokes and you're like, that's just mean. It's not even that funny. You're just being mean. So anyway, John Cleese is trying to make a new Fawlty Towers. That's that picture from the original show there. It's a brilliant show. Brilliant. But anyway, now he's trying to do this Fawlty Towers reboot, I think to employ his daughter, quite frankly, because and also is she even a comedian? She doesn't seem that concerned with being funny right there. So, I think she's tried to be a comedian. Nepo babies work when Nepo babies do the work. I think she's just kind of like, man, I can't get my career to go anywhere. It's a little bit like James Gunn employing his wife. It's like there's nothing to build on. It's just like, someone's like, I don't think Hollywood should allow that. I'd be like, I'm sorry, but I know you're looking out for loved ones, but they have to go out there and do some work. And then we can consider them. I think it's one thing to get a boost, but I think it's quite another to totally cut the line and not have to pay any dues whatsoever. So that to me is odd. There are a lot of Nepo babies that have done the work, a lot of them. And I think that's, great. That's why I think you have to take every Nepo baby individually. But this one doesn't seem very promising to me. So anyway, his first series was actually co-starred his wife at the time. The woman on the left is playing his wife on the show, but the woman on the right is his actual wife at the time, Connie Booth, who actually co-wrote the series. I mean, Camilla Cleese, his daughter, doesn't seem to be even writing this show with him. She just wants to be in it. She's like, Daddy, make me famous. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, I think he's just going to, tank both your careers. So anyway, Connie Booth is still alive, but she's not involved in this. And I think the thing is that she doesn't really want to be involved in anything right now. She's become a very private person, but I hope she's getting a check. I think if she had all helped create the original, if you're going to reboot it, you got to pay her. You got to literally not just pay her respect, but you got to pay her. So anyway, I'll say it here. This reminds me of something about people getting their dues. When I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania yesterday, I don't know if this has been on any of the previous films, but for the first time ever, at the very end, I noticed that it said a special thanks to J.C. Lee and the Stan Lee Foundation. And I was like, wait a minute. Isn't that the daughter who he hated and was abusive to him? And I looked it up, and it was. And I guess there's nothing that can be done about it, and I think that's why they hid it at the very end of the movie. But the idea that J.C. Lee would be making money off of all the Marvel movies when her father absolutely hated her and she was just so horrible to him. It was like people were like elder abuse at the time, right before he died. I mean, I get it. Again, there's nothing that can be done about it, but it made me kind of sad when I saw that. I was like, oh man, Stanley, you deserved better. Yeah, Denzel Washington's son is a wonderful Nepo baby. He's great. He's a Nepo man. So anyway, so I think redoing this would be very interesting. That's the original cast, and one of the funniest characters on the show was Manuel, who was the Spanish busboy. Now, unfortunately, that certainly would not work today, a lot of those jokes, and that character would have to be significantly reworked for this to, I mean, he was not even played by someone who was Spanish or Latino. He was played by an Austrian person born in Germany, who then emigrated to the UK with his family. Yeah, played by Andrew Sachs. So you're like, that's not going to work. Like, you'd have to get like Eugenio Derbez to play this character. Like, it would, they'd have to totally reinvent Manuel, and they'd have to, I think, give the character a lot more dignity, and they'd have to have people on the cast, in the writer's room, who were Spanish-speaking comedians. I'd be like, you got to have that representation. If John Cleese and his daughter think they're going to write a new Manuel, I got a wake-up call for them, quite frankly. That's funny, The Real Mary Sue, about Manuel and his family owning the hotel. I like that twist. And, John Cleese is the manager, but, they buy that and they pay for it. That could be really interesting. Or something. Or, like Manuel, his son has become like a local celebrity in town some other way. They just need to do something about it. The original show is hilarious, but it's not at all timely. It's very dated. Like if it was running today on a service, they would have to put a warning in front of it being like, this just shows you what it was like back then. So keep that in mind when you're watching the show. Danielle says, I'm curious, why is this suddenly an issue? Nepo babies have been there forever. How old is Michael Douglas? Danielle, I love you. You're so great. I love your picture, and that's a great point. And Michael Douglas is an incredible example of a Nepo baby. Because Michael Douglas started out producing movies and not starring in them, and he was really, really successful. He produced One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest before he was a famous actor. He's like the king of Nepo babies, Michael Douglas, quite frankly. So Miley Cyrus, there's a lot of great Nepo babies. And just to show you how bad Camilla Cleese is, she's done nothing. We've got a gabillion Nepo babies that have proven themselves, and she's got nothing. I think that's pretty bad. Like, part of me is like, I don't know if I can support Camilla Cleese because this seems really bad. But on the other hand, Fawlty Towers was such a good show that I would certainly at least watch the trailer. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the Frasier reboot, or the Frasier continuation, where you're like, I don't know, Kelsey Grammer's done a lot of weird stuff at this point, and there's no Niles on the show. And, of course, the actor who played his father, Marty, passed away. So you're like, I don't know. But then you're like, but it was so great. I'm at least going to watch the trailer and maybe the first episode. That's how great Fawlty Towers is. Has anybody here seen Fawlty Towers? It's so good. I don't think it's on any streaming services. I wish they would have, wouldn't it be great if there was a BBC streaming service? Why isn't there? Where you can watch Old Mr. Beans. I was watching Old Mr. Beans a couple of months ago on YouTube when Man vs. Bee came out. And I was like, man, he's so funny, Rowan Atkinson. Wandering Seth says the difference between a Nepo baby who did the work and a Nepo baby who didn't. Being surprised when you find out who their parents are, versus, that's it. Wandering Seth, great way to throw down the gauntlet. That's perfect. Where you're like, I didn't know you came from famous parents, to stop pushing your kid on me. That's great. Mr. Bean is on Hulu? Oh, that makes me happy. Oh, but I think it's only in the BBC with BritBox, isn't it? By the way, you know what I want to watch? I want to watch the rest of Happy Valley. Can I get BritBox in the United States, Danielle? That's right, Max. Elizabeth Olsen is a Nepo sibling, but boy, did she pay her dues. I'm glad so many of you have seen Fawlty Towers. It's great stuff. Great, great, great stuff. Oh, thanks, Danielle. I'm going to look at this. BritBox. I love me some British humor. That's my favorite type of humor. I don't like James Gunn's humor, and people are like, what kind of humor do you like, Grace? I like Monty Python. I'm very excited for the History of the World Part 2 from Mel Brooks. That looks very, very funny to me. I like that kind of stuff. I like British humor. I'm a big fan of British humor in particular. I think that stuff's Hilarious. All right, so those are the three stories of the day. It is 3:50. You may ask me anything you'd like until 4 o'clock. Hold on, I might have gotten some tea. Let me see. Oh, for Thunderbolts, they're looking for an African-American male lead. Might be the villain. Are they? I thought Sentry was already cast. That's interesting. I'll be curious to see what they decide to do. And then it looks like a description of the character from The Bear, about meant to be a smart, edgy go-getter in her 20s. Must be able to handle comedy. Oh, she's a great cast for that. Hey, Gritter, I'm glad you caught the live, too. Holden, I can't tell you anything about Quantumania. Don't get me in trouble, man. Don't get me in trouble. I can't get in trouble. I don't want to ruin these movies for you. George says, when are we seeing Hulkling? I think maybe during, hopefully, Secret Invasion, but he's not in WandaVision, or Agatha last I saw. Would you consider a Scream sequel watch-along? Maybe I'd watch 4, because I've never seen it. Max says, Grace, if you could be friends with one Disney animated princess, who would it be and why? That's hilarious! Oh, I don't know. I think the Disney animated princesses are more ciphers than individuals, which is why I think they're so popular with people. Like, who do you see yourself as? Vanellope von Schweetz, maybe. She's technically a Disney princess, right? I love it. Let's see here. Lewis says, love you, Grace. Oh, thank you. Will you do an updated Disney ranking live-action films after The Little Mermaid? Heck yeah! We'll do a ton of content for that when it comes out. I'll be covering that like a superhero movie. It's going to be great. Max says, you watch Happy Valley? It is incredible. Yeah, I love it. Sarah Lancashire, I love being Julia. That's such a great show. Or just Julia. That's such a great show. Aaliyah says, do you know any theories as to why the Academy chickened out on Riseborough? As an aside, she didn't attend a recent event and she's scared. Well, I'm sure she doesn't want any of those questions being asked her way. I think people were like, if they have a problem with Andrea Riseborough, they're going to have a problem with other people. And so I think they just didn't want to get into the drama of it. And some people people made it about race, and it was just pretty horrible. So I think they just wanted to move past it. I suspect the Oscar ratings are going to be ridiculously low this year. Carlos says Viola Davis might get snubbed at this year's Oscar, but she just got EGOT. Only 18 people have accomplished this category. I agree, Carlos. I didn't get to tweet about it because she won the EGOT just when I had tweeted at Movie Math. So I had to let Movie Math, kind of like hover for a while. But I'm glad you asked me this so I could comment on it. I'm so happy for Viola Davis. I think she totally deserves that. And I think it was a really nice comeback from the Oscar snub. It's like, who needs that Oscar snub? She's EGOT. She's EGOT, baby. Lord Baratheon says, who is the frontrunner for Reed Richards? Well, people are hearing different things, but, my sources last told me that it was Adam Driver. Let's see here. Vera. Oh, hey, Vera. That's a nice name. Empath Murkison and Judith Light were great in the newest episode of Poker Face. Weren't they, though? I hope we get a season 2 as well. I watched through the next episode. The next episode with Ellen Barkin was the weakest, I thought. I was like, oh, I don't like this one. Although it was actually pretty clever. But I've seen through the 6 episodes. So I'm very happy that after this week, I can get back into watching it. Because I think it's an incredible show. Chris Kahn said, where'd it go? Did you watch the Grammys? I did not. I was watching The Last of Us, episode 5. That's so good. So good. Alexis says, Viola Davis is, yep, that's right, Alexis. I just talked about that. Ivan Sermi, oh, thank you, Ivan, says, fun question. If you could choose to actually live in a franchise, cinematic universe, live there forever? I'd like to visit the Batman, but I don't want to stay there. I'm pretty happy in reality, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Bax says, another open-ended question, Grace. Who would you want to play you in a biopic of your life? You can't decide that. That's funny. Angel Torres says, Yellowstone trailer may not be enticing, but treatment of women and minorities is what keeps my family hooked watching all seasons. Oh, that's really good to hear, Angel, because it seemed like it was not doing a good job with that. But I appreciate you telling me that that's actually not the case. Holden says, have you been reading the new Scarlet Witch comic? I have. I don't particularly care for it, but am I continuing to read it? Yes, I am. The Harley and Ivy comic that came out yesterday was what I think the best depiction of their relationship to date. G. Willow Wilson knocked it out of the park. I was like, wow, this is just phenomenal. My Harley Quinn review, half spoilers, will come out on Thursday when the Valentine's Day special drops. I think I'm over my time. We'll just go to 4 o'clock. Do I laugh like Mickey Mouse, Carlos? That makes me very happy. I love Mickey Mouse's laugh. Haha. Let's see. I love Mickey Mouse. Sammy says, is the new streaming service from Warner Brothers Discovery going to be called Warner Plus? I heard it was going to be called like Max, just Max or something like that. So let's see. Maybe they'll drop it. Maybe they'll drop the new name when they have their upfront. Allison said, what movie is the BTT Movie Club watching this month? I'm not sure, Allison. I have to think about it. I don't know if we're going to be able to have the watch along in time for Valentine's Day because the Super Bowl, of course, is on Sunday. So I was like, oh, I'm trying not to overtax myself too much. And also now they have the Last of Us on Friday. And I can't give any spoilers about The Last of Us. I will just say for The Last of Us episode 5 that it is finally the perfect balance of what that show should be. If this had been the first episode out of the gate, this would be Game of Thrones level. It's really that good. I thought it was incredible. And so you're going to want to watch it as soon as it drops because I don't want it to get spoiled for you. So it drops at HBO Max on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the time that it usually airs. And I saw that people in other countries aren't getting it early, which really sucks for you. It really is horrible. And so I hope that you can find a way to watch it because it said out loud to my screen, oh my God. Let's see here. George Gonzalez says, after episode 3 of The Last of Us, I really hope Marvel takes notes for Wiccan and Hulkling. They better get those right. Green Lantern's Light says it's a top episode 3. Yes, it's the best episode they've had to date. It was incredible. It was everything that the show is supposed to be and had been sold as. It's bleak though, man. It's really bleak. We'll talk about that in the breakdown. Liros, I saw your comment about a meet and greet in New York City. I can't really do a meet and greet if there isn't security there. And so I can't afford to hire my own security. I'm not even sure how I would go about doing that. So maybe sometime at some event, maybe someday at New York Comic Con I might do it. Maybe at New York Comic Con I would do like an event. I do a meetup for people who had tickets that day. Maybe I was at the dog show. I went to the dog show at Jacob Javits Center, Meet the Breeds, because my parents are considering getting a dog, which is incredible. I've never had a dog, and I'm like, it's blowing my mind. So anyway, we went to that, and I had such a good time there, and it was really fun, and I was like, oh, I like being back here. And so maybe I could see myself doing that, but then I could piggyback off of the security at Jacob Javits, quite frankly. Mish says, hi, Grace, fan since 2018. Do you think we'll see Ravonna Renslayer in Loki Season 2? And a part of Kang's story arc. Oh, you'll have to wait for my video about the end credit scenes on, I can't even say anything. Okay, Lord Baratheon says, what changes do you see Iger making to Disney? Well, I think everybody's concerned about layoffs. I think everyone's really worried about layoffs tomorrow, and I think that's sad, So let's see what they decide to do. Trisha says, how do you like your iPhone 4 upgrade? I love my iPhone 14 upgrade. It was great. The magnets aren't bothering me, and it's a great phone. Let me see. I hope I don't have any messages on here. No, it's very big. Look how big it is. Oh, it's so big. This is from my trip to Monaco. This was the view from my parents' hotel room. And I was like, I'm going to save this forever. So I have the trip to when I went, and then I got a case from Cannes for the back. I got this from Society 6. So this is my phone. So yeah, it's 4 o'clock. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm supposed to stop talking to you guys. But yeah, so yeah, I love it. I highly recommend it. It's a great phone. I love it so much. It was a great purchase. It was ridiculously expensive, but you keep them for years. All right. That's right, Patrick. I mean, I'd feel weird carrying a case with my own face on it. I'm so glad so many of you like the movie math case. But I think, I don't know how that would make me look. If I was like, hey, which phone is mine? The one with my face on it. Thank you very much. All right, you guys, let me do some shout outs. Where are you? What's going on? What are you up to? Let me say hi. Thanks, Marcus. Elliot, I saw some of the places where they shot To Catch a Thief. Yes, I was in the hotel. That was really cool. I had a wonderful time in the south of France. It was a very special trip. Oh, Patrick, you're going to love Poker Face. So good. Captain Marvel says, taking a break from nursing school studies to watch the live. Oh, that's awesome. That's so great. Good for you. What a wonderful profession you've chosen. Lone Wolf Media says, at home, snacking on Oreos and milk. Elliot, did I miss your super chat? Let me go find it. Oh, hi, Grace. My boyfriend is desperate for any info on the projects coming from Avatar Studios. Everything that is, you've basically heard everything that we've all heard, with the leaks. But hopefully we'll be getting some stuff pretty soon that's more concrete. I'm really curious to see how they do. And if the fan base is still there. Christian Joe says, I'm at my office at Eon in Hollywood. Oh, that's so cool. And listening to my favorite YouTuber. Thanks, Christian. Or Joe, whichever one of those two you are. Adam Byers says, just joined. Sorry I'm late, Grace. Thanks for the work you do. Oh, it's my pleasure. I love you guys. Let's see here. Elliot says, I'm glad I was able to share that picture of my vacation with you. I haven't been on vacation since the pandemic. That's such a long time not to have been on vacation. I think, the last time I went on vacation, I think I was in Disney World for New Year's, right before the pandemic. And then that was it. Stephen Carrier says, my boyfriend broke up with me over the weekend. Oh, I'm sorry, Stephen. But, things happen for a reason, and I'm sure you'll meet somebody else. Elliot, but, don't base your happiness on having somebody else in your life. Make yourself happy. Elliot says, at home drinking some ice-cold Welch Concord grape juice. I like white grape juice, but yes, grape juice is actually quite delicious. Eric says, did you hear about the 17-year-old directing a horror movie for 24? I'm so happy for him because he's been making cool horror shorts on YouTube. Oh, that is awesome. Do you mean A24? Obviously, yes. That's great. Good for him. Fantastic Four news on Twitter. What is it, Trisha? You got to tell, is it the Galactus stuff? I see some other white grape juice fans too. Adam, what did you say about Downtown Disney AMC? Chronicle says, hi, Grace. I never got to catch you live, but I always watch afterwards. Always looking forward to your reports. Thanks, Adrian. I'm glad you got to say hi here. Juan says, Grace, don't you think of taking some time off? Well, I sometimes take it easy a day or so. I might take some time off. But I always try and do a lot of videos in advance so that you can't tell, or you can't tell too much. Oh, Fantastic Four starts filming early 2024. Well, I think we all kind of knew that. That means hopefully casting somewhat soon. That's still a long time away. Lero says, I'm just going to bed after the stream, sending love from Israel. Oh, look at that little heart being held by those two hands. That's so cute. He's like, here I am. Aw. Adam Byers says, AMC punishing low-income families. Will it work? I don't know. Let's see. Disney's making so much freaking money off of Genie Plus, even though everybody's miserable about it. So I think that's tough. Raphael says, I'm currently drinking a glass of fermented white grapes. Oh, some white wine. That's funny, Raphael. That's very funny. I never thought about that. I don't drink, as many of you know, and I don't even like the taste of it, really. Although I remember when I was little, we went to a business meeting, like a business dinner with my family, my dad, and like another family work. And I remember that the other girl in the other family was shocked that we had some cake with like liqueur in it. And they were like, your parents? I'm like, you can't get drunk off a cake. It's just cake. Gracien says, hi, Grace, riding the bus home from work. Been a subscriber since the first Wonder Woman trailer. Yay. I hope you're having a great trip home. I used to take the bus home from college. I fell asleep on it once, and thank goodness I was okay. Dev says, should you go to the movies if you're low income? No, Dev. I think that's not fair. I think it's very important to have escapes in life and to have joy and to find joy. I think that's so crucial for your mental health. I think you should always treat yourself. And movies are supposed to be an affordable treat. And that, I think, is the whole point of the whole conversation that we're having. David Quevedos is about to take a power nap during lunch. Thanks for the stream. My pleasure. Craig says, Grace, I had the booziest tiramisu ever when I was 16 for prom, and I had no idea and wondered, wow, I don't know, Craig, that sounds pretty boozy. I'm shocked that was, Mish says, watching the live stream drinking Coke. Thank you for making my weekdays enjoyable with these streams. My pleasure. And then Elliot says, Grace, what should we have for dinner? I'm having fish sticks and macaroni and cheese. Pretty good, huh? I do eat like a small child, but I don't care. I like it. Louis says, hey, Luis. Hey, Luis, thanks for joining. Tomorrow I shall have a healthier meal of fried egg sandwiches with avocado and cherry tomatoes. I'm trying to eat out less, even though I'm very busy working. Like, I was up until 4 a.m. last night. I was like, why the late night stuff? Niall says, I hope everyone is happy and hydrated. Oh, that's very good. I agree. That's good advice. I've been doing very good not drinking soda or sugar in general. I did have a little Valentine's Day candy. It's the holiday. Rashad says, about to catch up on The Last of Us and your reviews after this stream. Thank you. Elliot says, fish sticks and mac and cheese. Yep, that's right. I'm glad you approve of my combination. Luis says, looking forward to your Little Mermaid review. I'm very excited for the Little Mermaid trailer on Sunday. I'm also very excited for The Flash. Keith says, gonna have McDonald's for dinner. Delicious. Mike Stahl says, happy to be a member, longtime viewer, laundry day here in Ferndale, Washington. That's good. Good for you, Mike. You're gonna feel so good when you get it done. Yep, Dem, of course you can get a shout out. And Elia says, thanks for the stream, comrade. My pleasure. And the middle kid is the Little Mermaid trailer, another teaser or a full trailer? It should be a first full trailer. I'll know closer to the date, hopefully, what actual trailers we're going to get. And don't forget Fast X drops on Friday at, I believe, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pretty excited. Oh, look at this. Shini Ryuji says, hey, Grace, I'm a UPS driver, and your streams get me through the day. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm honored. I'm glad we get to go around with you on your runs. Let's see here. Jacob Herrera says, hi, Grace, about to go out and eat and go meditate in sunny Los Angeles. That sounds wonderful. What a great way to spend your day. Dev, you didn't spam. Don't worry about it. You didn't offend. Don't worry about it. And Trisha says her birthday is on Friday. What a birthday for you! You're getting the Fast X trailer and you're getting The Last of Us episode 5. What a day. All right, everybody, I'm going to get going. I had a lovely, lovely time talking to you, as always, and I'm excited to see you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow's live stream will be a bit earlier. It'll be before 4:30 p.m., because that's when it'll be done by then, because that's, of course, when the Disney investor conference is. All right, everybody, bye. Bye, everybody, bye, bye-bye.